We're here at the TNT Raceway Park for the All-Pro Nationals, right outside of Columbus, Ohio, in a town called Chillicothe, Ohio. And the big boys with the big toys are here to run. And the class we're going to be premiering here today is the paddle tires. The paddle tires is the elite of the professionals. They'll be lining up side by side down here on this racetrack. Kind of a new format. Side-by-side drag racing adds a little bit of excitement to it. But when the light goes green, the mud racer really does not have to leave the line when that light turns green. It's all on ET. ET, elapsed time. The quickest man to the other end in 200 foot is going to be the winner. And we're going to see it here at the All-Pro Nationals at TNT Motorsports Speedway right outside of Chillicothe, Ohio. Welcome back to the TNT Raceway Park. The class we're featuring here today, ladies and gentlemen, is the open class of mud racers. There are 6 different classes of mud racing, but the open class is the elite, and you can break them down into 2 different divisions. One where they are to run the paddle tires, one where they run the cut tires. The elite, the biggest of all, is the paddle tire division. The paddle tires, you feature a quarter-mile dragster with the drag slicks. You take that same type of tire and put on a set of paddles on it, just like you see on this machine right here. The big scoops, the scooper tires. These tires give the boys the traction that gives them the speed to go down the track, and in this sport, you've got to be fast to win, and it takes this type of tire to do it. Now then, let's go back to trackside and see our first 2 competitors go. The Pure Hell machine, Mark House out of Virginia. Warming up. He'll be the one that comes to the lane, and this is side-by-side racing now. These boys will go by the Christmas tree. The one thing that you're not familiar with is they do not have to leave once the light goes green. They cannot leave before the light goes green, but they've got to wait till it goes green. Even though they're racing side-by-side, it is for ET, not the first one to the other end of the track. Both mud racers will be timed separate ETs. And the winner of this paddle tire division will be the man who's fastest to the other end of the mud pit. Mark House inching in with the Pure Hell machine. This is Big Block Chevrolet, all aluminum, Rodex, inching up to the line. Across the way, the Bandit fires up to life. The Bandit belongs to Tony Farrell out of North Vernon, Indiana. He calls it the Blue Ribbon Bandit. Now this is a Chrysler-powered machine. Mopar 440 going up against the Rodex. Chevrolet versus Chrysler, the first 2 of the All-Pro Nationals at TNT Raceway Park. Into the throttle all the way down the track as dust flies, and that sets the tone for today's race. Mark House and the Pure Hell turns a time of 2.67. Tony Farrell and the Blue Ribbon Bandit turns a time of 2.85. Magnum Force comes to the near side of the track. Magnum Force driven by Henry Mattingly out of Winchester, Kentucky. Powered by Big Block Chevrolet. Got a different style of scoopers on the rear. Some of them you'll see will be staggered like that. Some will be full cut straight across, just as his opponent is. Gary Osteen. Across the way, out of Daytona Beach, Florida. Here'll be a man to watch. The man out of Florida come all the way to Ohio. These boys travel many, many miles. The Dirty Bird is the name of Osteen's car. 598 cubic inches of SVO, Ford blown alcohol. Ford Chevrolet. Bring her to the starting line. Magnum Force, Dirty Bird. They'll stage. They will wait for the green light. Gary Osteen, the Dirty Bird, goes into the lead with a 2.56. That will be a mark to shoot at. On this side of the track, it's Pam's Headache. Now, you might notice on one of the doors it says Ron's Headache. But Pam's Headache is the name of the machine of Jackie Moore out of Marlington, West Virginia. Big block Chevrolet, 615 cubic inches. On the other side of the track, a man that you really want to keep an eye on, the Money Pit, a Fiat body. Fred Wilhite drives the Money Pit. He's out of Decatur, Illinois.
Approximately 10 years ago, we were running a single carbureted Chevy Love called Shag Nasty. It's about 400 horse. We've progressed over the time to this thing here, about 1,600 horse and quite a bit faster. Now we're running about 48% overdrive on the blower. It's putting out about 35 to 40 pounds of boost depending on the hook. It's got the 1471 Littlefield blower on it. Mazzola pistons, rods. It's all high caliber. It'll do about anywhere from 75 to 8,500 RPM is the optimum range that I like to run it at.
Now he is giving up about 100 cubic inches of motor to the Headache machine. The Headache, 615 cubic inches going up against 496 cubic inches. They inch their way to the staging area. The Christmas trees. The Headache is staged, waiting on the Money Pit to stage. 2.57 is what they got to shoot at. One of them, if not both of them, wants to beat that time. The skinny block Chevrolet, the Money Pit, took it away. 2.63, lacking just a few hundredths of a second. The Money Pit moves into second place with a 2.63. All right, we're coming up to the line right here. Daniel Fuchs, Turtle's Toy. A slick looking machine. Daniel Fuchs out of Metamora, Illinois. And his opponent getting ready to come in on the far side. The Intruder, Tom Marsh, and the Intruder lined up on the far side. Running Rodex Chevrolet. Daniel Fuchs on this side. Turtle's Toy, 482. The motors are evenly matched as far as cubic inches, but it's going to be a test of who can put the power to the ground. The bead locks on these cars. They don't want to twist the tires off of the rim with the speed that you're watching here today. 200 foot is the track. Horsepower, the name of the game. Clean those motors out. The Intruder staged. He looks over at his competition. Tom Marsh turns that 2.84 in the Intruder. That 2.84, the fastest of those two. But once again, that does not move him to that top spot. Going to have some mighty big names shooting for that #1 spot here, but they're going to have to go faster than that 2.84. No Surrender comes to the line, ladies and gentlemen. This man's got a lot riding on this pass as he is now in the points lead, but can he hold it? We talked to him out in the pit area before the show started. Paul, the No Surrender machine is sitting in the lead right now, but you're going to have to do some hard work to hold that points lead.
Yeah, all I really need to do is make some good passes, and I'll stay there. I'm far enough ahead now. I don't have to win, just run really as good as we can. Luck and hope the car stays together.
On the near side, the Pony Express, Kimball Shows. On the far side, Paul Hespenthal, No Surrender. These boys are moving right up. This ain't going to take long for them to get ready to go. No Surrender is staged. He checks his gauges, cleans the motor out. The race is on. Pony Express, No Surrender. No Surrender, a time of 2.71, puts him up around third place. Pony Express having some motor problems. He might have broke a blower belt. He launched off of that line, but it didn't carry on through. The machines are loud. Competition is fast. We're about a third of the way through, and the quick time could still be set. While we're waiting for our next two competitors to come up to the line, let's go back to the tires and talk about them a little bit. I've explained the paddle tires on the back, the scoopers, but you look at the front tires. The front tires being different than the back tires, of course the back tires being the scoopers, but on the front end, they run the cut tires up front. They're cut, they're shaped to get rid of the mud. They clean themselves out, gives them traction on the front end. The DOT tires up front is what it takes to give them the traction on the front, and the scoopers on the back give them traction on the rear. The stepchild on the inside lane, the stepchild got that motor out in wide view where you can get a good look at it. Chuck Noll out of Palm Harbor, Florida, drives the stepchild, 572 cubic inches of Ford motor. Be the second Ford motor that we've had in the event here today, as the Ford motors are making their mark on the track. The Red Heat machine across the way, the Red Heat, one of the different designs. You notice the motor sets behind the driver. Kevin Brown, as he'll move it up, he is right up in front where he can get a full view of all the action. The stepchild setting behind the motor, looking around it. Two different styles of racers. Which one can go the fastest? Stepchild trying to get inched in to that staging area. Likes just a little bit. He's got one light set on the stage. He's going to have to inch a little farther forward, I believe. Red Heat, he's waiting on the Red Heat. The Red Heat had to clear that motor out. That rear engine machine will give you a ride. Something not right on stepchild. There we go. Quick racing. That was a classic race between two hard-charging racers. Chuck Noll, the stepchild, moves up in the top 5 with a 2.76. The Mad Max. Here's a man, ladies and gentlemen, that is in a hard race for the points championship. He led it up until just a few weeks ago, and mechanical difficulty knocked him out of the lead. He now sits in second place. Mike, you've been chasing points. You know what it's like to be in the lead, but things have kind of changed on you.
Yes, last race, I had the lead, but not like we wanted to have. And last race, we really tried hard and ended up breaking our transmission and then had some really bad luck. Didn't get it changed in time to make the next pass. And we got a little behind in the second place, but we got to really do good these next two if we're going to win it this year again.
Mike Thomas, Grovetown, Georgia, and he's got this race and one other one to try to regain his points championship. If he's going to have a chance of gaining any points, he's got to win this class or get close to it. His competitor on the side to side is Keith Wheeler and a machine called Spasm. There is a lot of horsepower difference between the Spasm and the Mad Max. Somewhere around 800 horsepower difference. But in this game, the most horsepower does not always win. It's who can put it on the track. A lot rides on this race here. The Mad Max knows that he's got a lot riding on this race. Going up against the Spasm, he's not concerned in beating the Spasm. He's concerned in getting that lead time here this afternoon. He needs to go quick. The officials do mark it as an out of bounds for Mike Thomas. Bad luck strikes him again. A broken rear end a week ago, out of bounds this weekend. His hunt for number 1 is hurting. Keith Wheeler and Spasm with the skinny block has a great time of 3.18. No Fear, brand new machine. Now this one's carbureted. You take a look on top of that motor. You don't see the blower that we've seen on these other racers. You see the new tires. He's got brand new scat tracks up on the front, brand new rubber on the back end, a brand new machine, but running twin carbureted, probably pumping that nitrous oxide in on the side. The size of the motor, he's very quiet about the size of the motor. He stages in. There's the nitrous oxide. That's what you see right there. He's purging the lines, being sure that the nitrous oxide is right up where he's going to want it. His opponent on the side-by-side race is going to be the Psycho. It's a 37 model Fiat, which belongs to David Whitehurst out of Herndon, Virginia. So George Santos, David Whitehurst, it's blower motor against carbureted nitrous oxide. You'll see a difference when they come off the line, but you'll also see another difference when they get to the other end of the track. Psycho, No Fear, staged up. Who is going to be the fastest? The Nitrous oxide machine just almost pulled off the upset. He was with him all the way through the track. So close. The Psycho machine, 2.89, takes that race. The Gambler makes his way to the line. Garland Walls, another one of the Florida machines, looking to be a Florida shootout right here as Gary Osteen at 2.56 in the lead. Garland Walls wants to go at that 2.56 with the Gambler. Chevrolet powered, 621 cubic inches, but what a machine coming up against him. Neil Smith out of Grantville, Georgia. Here's a machine, the mid-engine machine. We talked to him about the mid-engine back in the pit.
Well, the reason we chose this particular style is because the center of gravity and the weight distribution as the car is accelerating. We did try it in a front engine, this particular motor in a front engine combination, and didn't find much success with it because of the weight distribution, and especially as it's accelerating. And hopefully this car right here, as far as when it takes off and the weight distribution on the shocks and center of gravity, will let it take off and carry out to the halfway point of the track and then carry on like a normal car.
Neil Smith, Grantville, Georgia, the American Thunder 3. The mid-engine machine. There's 2 or 3 of those racers in this class, and that kind of seems the way the sport might be headed. He runs a 540 cubic inch KB engine. Keith Black. There is tons of horsepower in that motor right behind the driver of the American Thunder 3. Now they're starting to make their way up to the staging area. The Gambler wasn't going to move up too quick, playing a waiting game on the American Thunder, trying to psych him out and trying to get his brain right. The Gambler has a different style of tires on the back end. Once again, we see the tire configuration coming into play. Stage they are. Who's going to be the winner? Gambler having a problem on the starting line as the American Thunder made a clean pass all the way through. Turns a great time of 2.69, and he goes in the top 5. 40 machines in this class, ladies and gentlemen, the best of the best. And we're about 2/3 of the way through, and we'll see the rest of the best when we come back. Welcome back to TNT Raceway Park. As we're getting down to the last few guys to go through the mud pit, you know, tires has been the subject here today. As they get back, they get the traction. I want to explain just a few differences in a few of these machines. The bead locker that goes on the tires that keeps the tire from spinning on the rim. You have a 1,500 horsepower motor spinning these tires as hard as they can. Sometimes they have a tendency to slip on the rim. This machine right here doesn't run a bead locker. He just screws metal screws in through the rim into the tire to lock it. But now, into comparison to show you what the other guys run, we move over to this machine. You'll notice a lot of them, when they come to the line, have various colors of the bead lockers. This one being pink on the Harbuck's car. This actually locks the bead onto the rim. This tire will not spin on this rim, and that will ensure that there will not be a problem for this racer going down the track. All right, Robert Heisner out of Hollywood, Maryland, coming to the line in a machine, the Hot Tuna, running another one of those Fiat bodies. He has the Hemi in his machine. The Hot Tuna will be on the near side of the track. Fork Brothers Express comes to us out of Kentucky, Mount Sterling, Kentucky. Jeff Ballard, the machine owned by Darren Ovington, but Jeff Ballard doing the driving. It's none other than 510 cubic inches of big block Chevrolet. Low slung. The Fiat body gives you a car-like appearance. The Fork Brothers Express, that low slung as he touched down the windshield, getting ready to go to the other end. Those front tires are going to be pawing and scratching. Still looking for a quick time on this track. Fork Brothers is staged. Hot Tuna is staged. Fork Brothers got to the other end the quickest, but he took the long way around to get there. Hot Tuna turns the time of 3.25. Robert Heisner has a time of 3.25. Executioner coming to the line. This man has done some body work on this machine. Mike Summers out of Berlin Heights, Ohio. Another one of the Ohio racers. And a man from Ohio would like to take it home as Florida still in the lead with 2.56. But here comes the fastest lady in the mud. Out of Oklahoma is the Flirting with Disaster, Paula Harbuck. Now, this lady started out as a professional barrel racer in the rodeo circuit and is now change from horses to horsepower. This lady can get on with the program. Gets it on the line and stages up. She knows what she's got to beat. She knows what she's got to do. A beautiful, beautiful car. A beautiful lady. Gonna play in the mud. Go fast. The Executioner turns a time of 3.26. So the fastest lady in the mud moves in the top 10 with a 2.76. The race of races, ladies and gentlemen. You heard me say this earlier in the show, but this one right here is going to be watched by many as two of the hottest shoes in the sport of national mud racing has drawn numbers side by side. This is the last race of the event. One man from Missouri, one man from Texas. Both of them have been national champions in different classes. The Tater Machine, Ronnie Pence, out of Fredericktown, Missouri, has held the national record in 180 foot. Across the way, Bill Hazelwood, Mud Spider 2, the man with the hot shoe right now. 7 wins back-to-back coming into this race. Big Box Chevrolet is going to rule the roost on this one. And this is the race, ladies and gentlemen, the last one of the event here today. And it is so possible that the winner of this race is going to come out of this class. The Tater out of Missouri, Mud Spider out of Texas. 2 Big Block Chevrolets, 2 elite professionals drawing side-by-side numbers. Mud Spider got a launch. Mud Spider lifted the front end and carried it to the other end. 2.370, 2.370 for the Mud Spider. He went past that 2.56. The last pass of the day makes Bill Hazelwood the winner with that 2.3. He is going to be the winner of the All-Pro Nationals. Here at Chillicothe, the All-Stars did prove that this was a race of All-Stars, ladies and gentlemen, because the elite of the elite came, and the man that went through the mud pit last, he proved it all, that he turned the fastest time. Bill Hazelwood with the Mud Spider 2 out of Texas. Bill, did you know what you had to beat when you come to the track?
Yes, sir, I really did. I knew there was some good cars, like you said, the best of the best was here, and we tried to put everything together with our Power Pro chassis and our janky racing engines, and everything just worked out real good, and we had a good hook, and it was a good ride.
Now, it was a straight pass. You hooked and went right straight through the line. The front end lifted up. You don't like that front end to come up too high, but this machine was charging all the way.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. It was really charging. In fact, I had to kind of get out of it to let the front end down to break the lights, or I would have went another length of the car before I stopped the clocks on the other end.
Now, that is a point that not many people would pick up on as they watch the event right here, but those timing lights at the other end are down low, and that's 200 foot, and you turned it in 2.36 seconds, and you're telling me that you had enough composure to let that front end down in time to break those lights.
Yes, sir. That's what I had on my mind, to get the front end down.
That proves true professionalism. When a man can drive it that way, he knew what he had to do, and he done it. 2.36, Bill Hazelwood turning in the quickest time here today. The best of the best came, the best of the best run. And the next time that we come into your area, you be looking for the best to go through the mud pit, because the All-Star Nationals will give you the quickest race through the mud pit, and we'll be looking for you at that show.